Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the township, the village, you know, those government people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you recently elected. And the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting that affected you or not. And that's why we're here.
And also so that he can spread rumors, he being Dave. Right?
Hey, it's only 144 word tweets. That's all I do.
All right, that's right. And there's other things.
As long as Donald is not in the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But anyway, we also want to talk about the humor that comes out of these meetings, particularly if you don't attend the meetings.
That's right.
David says you better attend these meetings because it's going to come back. It will.
The rumors either at the top of the pile or the bottom of the pile.
Right. Either way, it's going to dig its way right to the top.
You betcha.
And with that, let's talk about one of the first meetings that we attended, and actually one that's dear to our heart. Cable communications meeting that we had. And
I like it when you get smushy like that.
Yeah, right. Well, you folks may not know, but Supa Sardit is the chairperson of this particular commission. Shar Sotheby is the vice chairman, and Lori Fisher is the treasurer. Ed Hunwick serves, I think, as secretary on the board, and he's appointed, I think, by the township. And Bill Service sits on that board.
And we have one missing that will soon be appointed.
Yes, we have one missing, but this guy was there. He's David Kenny, and he handles the accounting portion of this thing.
Yeah.
Known as the bookie.
But he was also there.
I was here too, but in the audience. Somebody's got to keep an eye on this guy, I think.
Yeah, it was hard to shut him up.
Yeah, it was hard to keep him sitting down. Anyway, you're right. There's a vacancy on that. I almost got that one now, didn't I? Vacancy on that board, and that would be Buck Kreiderman, who is no longer going to be with the township.
And
was appointed.
With the next meeting of the Board of Trustees of Oxford Township, that'll be settled out.
It will be. And somebody else will be appointed. And that meeting, by the way, with the township is going to be the 14th of December.
Okay.
Okay.
That's when all those committee openings will be filled. And
pretty much.
Which one's you going to be on? Huh?
You know what? That's up for grabs yet. I really don't know yet. And that'll actually be reviewed by the township supervisor and the others in terms of, and I'm talking about trustees and the treasurer and secretary, clerk. All be determined by all those people.
I'm sure they will assign you to those positions for which you are eminently qualified.
Well, if I'm not, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
All right. I should be. Anyway, that being said, we're going to go on to what this meeting was. And, of course, they lead off with a pledge, which is a good thing. Then they talk about reviewing the bills.
Or the minutes.
Well, they did discuss the minutes, didn't they? You want to throw that in? Is there anything?
Well, it was right after the pledge.
Was like
that you didn't mention.
Would you like to add something else?
No.
Okay.
It went smoothly, but it was there.
Oh, okay. Well, with that then they did talk about the bills.
Well, yeah.
Surprise, surprise, folks. Anyway, one of the things on the bills, Ed Hunwick raised his hand. He says, "Hey," he says, "the studio bought a battery. How come you didn't have a garage put it in rather than your personnel putting it in?"
Because Elgin couldn't keep his hands off it.
Right. Well, I did explain that, it was a testing phase. We went through and we checked the battery and everything was pretty well assured that it wasn't going to operate, so we replaced it. And that sure beat these guys getting stranded with the van.
And it wasn't that complicated. You didn't have to remove a fender or anything.
Well, yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. We'll say it was more complicated. Don't make it sound that easy,
It was.
I want to sound important, though.
Well, you did lift it.
Right. Yeah, I did do that. I paid for it, though. Actually, he lifted it.
You paid for it?
I mean, you paid for it, too, didn't you?
I paid for it, yes.
You did.
The company paid for it.
Okay. I was waiting for you to say that. Okay. Anyway, we received a new battery, and that was explained to Ed, and Ed, I think, was comfortable with that. Then they talked about budget considerations, and the first thing that they came up was, hey, we'd like to have a drone. a drone,
They droned on.
they droned on, right? And so I did discuss it from a technical standpoint, and the reason why a drone would be nice to have for the studio.
So technically, it goes up, it goes down.
Yeah, what goes up must come down,
Right.
but you want it to come down safely,
Oh,
right? So there are a number of drones that we did talk about.
not at 16 feet per second per second.
No, no. Actually, these things fly pretty fast, you know. You can speed them up if you want, and it's just amazing how quick they can go. But there's a whole different series of drones out there, and there are about 15 of them that I waded through to check the specs on and so forth, and get feedback, you know, from the internet, and really settled on a drone that has automatic sensors around it, so that if it's flying down the street during a parade and there's a building, it stops.
And the answer is,
And it goes
who
around
knows
the
how to
building.
do all this? The Phantom does.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. And that's what it's called. It's called a Phantom 4.
Right.
And so it's trying to appropriate the monies, you know, to do this. And what came out of this also was another discussion on what other uses could this drone be used for. Do you recall?
Well, yeah, there might be the fire department, the police department, depending on what kind of surveillance they might want to do, maybe looking for a lost person, maybe evaluating the amount of damage to a piece of property or something like that, that they could come to us and we would more or less subcontract out to them.
Right, and it would be a tool just like any of the other tools that we use here that are, you know, electronic devices and pretty sophisticated in nature. This guy, though, this particular
Drone.
drone, I was going to say Phantom,
This guy.
this guy, the drone, actually when it gets tired and it's just about ready to run out of energy and juice, it'll turn around, come back, and land at your feet, just like a puppy dog.
Can you
pretty
understand?
cool.
Heel.
Heel. Yeah, right. Or, as Bill Dunn pointed out, you can get a chip and you put it in your back pocket, and the drone will sync to that chip. And if you program it, let's say 20 feet from where you are, it'll follow you, no matter where you go.
They call that stalking. Stalking drone.
That's what your neighbors call you, but
No.
okay, a little bit different. Anyway, so that was all explained to the board here, and they said, well, what about the operators? Who's going to run this thing?
Not you.
Apparently not. No, they did say...
You get spastic and everything with those controls.
Right. Well, we said, well, we would have one person designated along with one other person. We recommended Kyle, you know, working with me on it to start with. And that if anybody wanted to lease or use this product that's not trained, there'd be a charge, you know, for doing that to cover
Sure.
the manpower cost.
Oh, right.
Okay, makes sense, I
And
think.
we would have a verifiable expert working with it.
Right. Well, Supasarta says, well, wait a minute now. We don't want to do anything until procedures are in place to do this.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that before or after the handbook?
I think it's going to be far after the handbook. How long has the handbook been?
I don't know.
They've been dealing with it. Do you recall?
I think
Were
the
you
original,
here then?
the
or-
original one I think was chipped with chisels.
Right. Fairly old. But anyway, so she said that there should be policies, procedures, and guidelines established before you actually make a flight. So that being said, it's going to be a while before they can actually order this thing.
So
And
there
Ed
you'll be with your 4 pages of a 747 checklist before
Right.
it takes off.
could do that. And Ed Hunwick then, he made the motion, you know, to approve $2,000 because the drone itself is estimated to be around $1,299, something in that area. But you need an iPad also, or an iPhone. And I
It's like
think
a
an
set of
iPad-
dominoes, isn't it?
It is.
What does the iPad need?
iPad is only like $300, so it's not that expensive
So-
to get.
So does the drone have something that plugs into the iPad that acts as a sender to the drone, or
Yes.
what?
Yes, it does.
Well,
And it
then,
receives the signal from the drone, from the cameras.
but it needs this little module.
It needs, well, yeah, you will put a chip into the unit, into the drone itself.
It's not just an attachment.
No. It would be, well, it would probably be a
It's an attachment. It's an attachment that has a radio sending and
Right,
receiving.
right.
Yeah, okay.
That connects to the unit itself and sends the messages.
With appropriate software.
You got that? Okay, with that, we'll be back right after this, folks, with more.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nickel.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about a drone, which we're talking about for the studio here.
The Phantom.
Yes. And we just said that procedures have to be in place in order to actually get this little feller off the ground, right? Mm-hmm. That's the way it's going to operate.
And, you know, once the commission puts those procedures together, based on the conditions that they gave us when they approved it, we'll then buy the Phantom 5.
Right. And when
because there'll be a Phantom 5 by then.
that's kind of what I pointed out, didn't you? I said, you know, we just want the appropriation of the funds because we could be into a Phantom 5 or 6 by the time, you know, we're ready to do this. So anyway, so they pretty much agreed and they did approve that with the condition that the guidelines, policy, and so forth are in place prior to. Now, when you get a drone, it has to be registered. So, you will receive numbers which go on the drone
With
itself.
the FAA?
Yes, which identifies, you know, the drone.
And the pilot.
Yep, as a registry, which I thought I would have you do that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you crash it, I'll get gigged.
That's the plan. Okay. So anyway, so that pretty much was taken care of. The next issue that came up was the question of electronics.
Ultra Nexus.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yep.
have an Ultra Nexus now.
We have an Ultra Nexus 22, which is the older version. This unit that we're talking about upgrading is a high definition unit.
Yeah, this is the cornerstone of our ability to broadcast out to charter, basically.
I want to say that's the heartbeat of the system. If you lose that,
Oh,
It's
sure,
kaput.
you had to use another metaphor.
right? I had to do one up on you, you know, because otherwise you will just keep on adding metaphors. I know you will. Okay.
Not me.
So anyway, so we explained, you know, what this electronics unit does. It's actually a server, and you pointed out something rather, I don't think that they knew, that this server that we have currently, which is an old model, about 10 years old, took the place of drives, multiple
Yeah, we used to
DVD drives.
We used to broadcast not only from VHS tape players, but also from 300 disc DVD carousels.
Can you imagine that?
Wow. Well, they were mechanical, and from time to time, well, mechanical things break down.
Yeah. I think there were.
Electronic things don't break down as much, but when they do, it's a disaster.
Right. Can you imagine the little 300 disc in each unit? And I believe there are 4 units
Yep.
stacked.
Yep.
And you're right. All of a sudden, you got no signal. So you
But-
have to have somebody that understands how to.
But that system and the system we have now only broadcasts out in standard definition. The new system will broadcast out in HD. Whenever Charter makes it available, we'll be able to utilize that.
Right. And it looks as though, in talking to Charter, it'll be roughly about 2 years before you folks will see high definition in terms of cable.
Right. Not
so-
that they don't have it right now for other channels.
Right. So, anyway, someone from the board said, well, how much is this thing? Well, it cost about $16,000 to upgrade. That's what they did.
I know.
A lot of coughing went on. And when they came up for air, I said, but, you know, you have to have this because of the situation we have now. It could fail any time. And if it does, you want to be in a position so that you can get it. And we're just looking for the allocation of funds. Should it happen, and should it not be in a timely manner in which we can just do the transition, right?
Right. Because that thing has all of our programming in it.
It does. Yep. So the cost that they provided for us, or the money that they provided, was a total of, I believe, $20,000 for the approval of this. And that would be including, I think, the drone and the iPad, you know, for the complete package. So that's what was done. They did a great job in getting this approved. And there are conditions, of course, to be met prior to doing this. Excuse me. When it looks like we have the funding there in year 2017 to upgrade to electronics high definition 264 model, right?
Right.
Okay. The OCTV budget. They talked about Lori Fisher, who's the treasurer, did talk about the budget in some degree. Is there anything you want to add at this point about the budget?
Well, I know a lot of businesses and municipalities and everything were getting ready for this new, was it FSLA?
Yes.
Regulations that were going to come in that redefined what an exempt versus a non-exempt person was and how much they should earn at that particular rating.
Right.
And just before the meeting, a judge down in what, Texas?
I believe it's Texas.
Never mind.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but somewheres.
It's a temporary injunction, but I doubt if the Trump administration will pursue any case in court.
It's not a popular thing with the Republican Party, so I don't believe it's going to go anywheres.
There were 21 state governments that were suing to get rid of it, too.
Yes, they were. We'll have to see what happens down the line. I don't think it's ever going to happen either, and from what I see, and I think you feel that way, right?
Well, I think it's just going to be through lack of any action to overcome the decision.
Mm-hmm. And this was kind of a roadblock in determining two exempt people that we have in the operation or our organization, Bill Service, who's the station manager, and Terry Stiles. And so they kind of hesitated in approving their salary for next year because of that.
Right.
Because it does,
And when that
before
got
the injunction, there was a stipulation for the...
stipulation.
Yeah, that's a word, isn't it? Write that one down. Put it in your stack. Stipulation. That's a good one. I like that one.
Oh,
anyway,
I'm calling Webster's right now.
I'm sure you will. Take a note and check on it next time.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But
You wanted to say something before you were so rudely
now
interrupted.
that thought, that train pulled out.
I can see the smoke. It's still going.
Anyhow, it caused a little bit. This meeting was also to approve the budget for 2017. And originally they had some adjustments made for that FSLA exempt, non-exempt thing.
Right.
And now they have to backtrack and kind of readjust the budget for Terry and Bill.
Yeah, I think the determination was, is that a good word? Determination? Okay.
Oh,
Have to check with it
didn't
now.
see me jump out of my seat.
Okay. The determination, I think, at that point was, let's approve, their salaries now as exempt, which means no overtime. If you were non-exempt, of course, you get overtime with salary.
Right.
Okay. So that's the way it pretty much went through, and it was approved that way.
Right.
Okay. So everybody was happy there. And they received with this, I believe, a 6% raise, which was approved.
Yep.
And the other employees, got a 3% raise.
On the average.
Across the board.
On the average.
Yeah. And that's the way the treasurer said, this should work, by golly.
Yep.
And that's the way it went down. Let me see, 2017 meeting schedule was approved. And now you put that together, did you? Mm-hmm. That's something that's required
Yeah.
from the state?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it?
It's pretty easy, the fourth Monday of every month, but you have to avoid major holidays and stuff. And
You just copied the old schedule and changed the dates on them?
no.
No?
And of course, in prior years, we were meeting at different locations, and now they're just meeting at the Village of Oxford offices, and that makes it a lot simpler.
It does. You'd think.
You think?
Okay. All right, let's talk now about some things. Let's talk about the December 2nd Christmas in Oxford, the
Soup and Stroll?
Soup and Stroll.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was there.
you were hunting and
My
pecking
wife.
there.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll tell you what, you folks that have not attended, the Soup and Stroll, which is an annual event, it was fantastic. I mean, all kinds of different soup. You did have to get a wristband, and you went to the DDA tent.
You had to pay $5 for it.
Yeah, $5. $10, for a family.
For a whole family?
Yeah, well, it'd be for a whole family.
3 to 12?
2 people, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
But if you're 12 years or younger, it didn't cost you anything.
Oh.
I mean, you got in anyway. So it's a pretty good program. Some of the soups out there, I mean, there was chili, there was potato soup.
More chili?
More chili. And it was a kind of a chilly evening, too, so speaking of chili.
If it's warm, you ate it.
Yeah, but a lot of people out there, and they had all the gift shops pretty much were open. And they had specials, sales, that kind of thing, which of course my wives kind of like that part of it. Yeah, I know how you like to shop, so.
Yes, I do. Come in here, dear.
Yeah, come in here. Drag you in, screaming and kicking, that kind of thing. But they also had a lighting of the Christmas tree. And beautiful tree, as they have had in previous years too. Santa Claus, Mrs. Santa Claus down there. And I saw you sitting on Santa's lap. Poor Santa.
Ferrari, get off my lap, kid.
Right. And what would you like this year? Oh no, we're not doing that big stuff this year. How's coal sound to you? That might work.
Gonna keep me warm.
All right, and we'll talk more about David's Christmas when we come back, right after this.
Santa's coming to town with sequins in his hair.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nickel.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We are talking about the soup and sweet stroll. Now they have cookies and things like that too,
Oh,
and
cool.
chocolate milk or what they call cocoa. Remember the good old days?
Hot chocolate.
Yeah, but we used to call it cocoa when we were little.
That's only because you put schnapps in it.
I did not.
You did too.
You know what? You were at the wrong family gathering. I know that. That didn't happen. But anyway,
The first sign is denial.
first sign is denial, all right. Yeah, denial. Isn't that in, where is that at? Egypt?
That's right.
Denial.
It's a river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Santa Claus was there. We talked about him sitting on his lap. Anyway, tree lighting took place, and choirs though they did have choirs at the Centennial Park.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, Christmas music all over, jingle jingle,
Oh.
that kind of stuff. No snow though, but it was kind of chilly. But yeah, as you're moving around up and down the street and bumping into quadrillion people that you knew.
It gave you more reason to get into those warm little stores.
Yeah, it did. Well, that's what the excuse was for the wives. But
I see.
anyway, not so much for the guys. But we kind of waited outside, I think, and had some more soup.
Gathered around the fire.
I think that's the way it worked, yeah. It actually had heating barrels there, you know, that you could warm your hands with.
See?
That kind
Told
of
you.
thing. Not roast
They weren't roasting chestnuts.
chestnuts. Those are what I was...
Have you ever had a roasted chestnut?
I never have. Have you?
Yeah.
What do they taste like?
Yeah, well,
Well, not your favorite, huh?
they were over-advertised.
Do they have a hard
But
shell?
I had to try one. No, it doesn't.
Doesn't have a hard
you
shell?
just bite into them and they're kind of mushy.
You just eat them the way they are.
Yeah.
You can't equate the taste. to
They were
anything?
roasting on it. Chestnuts were roasting on
Oh,
an
here we go.
open
Okay,
fire.
I'm sorry I even said anything. Okay, and they had a petting farm too. That was fun. Petting farm. A lot
What
of
animals
kids
did they
there.
have?
They had reindeer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and little sheep. Bah.
Not little, not sheep with little antlers
Not
strapped
goats.
on them.
No. No, I think one year they were a little short on reindeer, and they did strap antlers on dogs.
Well,
I'll spread that rumor anyway. You can do that. You do the rumor spreading, right?
right.
So anyway, it was a great time for everybody. Everybody I think left, with lots to eat, lots to drink, and a few of us left with our wives and presents they were carrying, for Christmas. Let's talk also, because we had the following day the Christmas parade, which we were
yes.
in. Came in here at roughly about 9 o'clock to the studio, and by the way, they did a sports shoot at a basketball game Friday night, so the van wasn't available until early Saturday morning. So at that time, we rushed it down, got a car washed, or a van wash, as you would say. Brought it back here, and on the way back, it kind of dried off. And
At that speed, anything would dry off.
we did dress up the van. We had lots of help here. You were here,
Yep.
and Kyle was here. And let me see, who else was there? Ashley Point was here.
Huh?
Yeah, to help us with it.
Our team.
Yeah, I couldn't forget her. Yep. So we
All of Santa's elves were here.
so we made it all spiffy, except for the presents that went on top of the vehicle. And then we drove down, and we had to drop some equipment off too.
Once again, at that speed, the presents wouldn't have stayed on the car.
Okay. Well, good thing I was driving it. That's all I can say. But so anyway, so we equipped all of the people that are going to do the shooting. Terry Stiles is downtown, and I'm trying to think who was shooting with her. If Dan was doing the camera work,
Dan Weiss.
and I believe Russell Courier was
Yep.
doing some work too, right?
Yep.
Downtown. But anyway, you folks can catch the parade, on OCCTV.org. or you can go to YouTube, right?
Yep.
Catch it out there. Beautiful parade. Let me see, the Christmas theme this year, I'm trying to think of what it was. Can't remember. But Christmas. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Christmas at the North Pole. That explains why everybody's gripping the pole. They're going, and they were pointing north.
And the barbers are all looking, where the heck did my pole go?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's an interesting thing with barbers' poles. You
Why?
know why they're striped? You must know.
Because
You
they
have
were
all the
doctors
facts.
also.
Yeah, they used.
To let blood
Oh, yummy. Let me see.
if they didn't have any leeches around.
Yeah. Well, two things at once. You get bloodlet plus a haircut. Can't beat that.
No.
Of course, I've seen barbers that would do that just by cutting your hair. When I was younger, anyway. Matter of fact, trying to think, Mr. Who was the guy that led the parade this year?
Mr. Parker?
Yeah, Parker. Yeah, Parkhurst.
Sometimes
His
you're
last
amazed that I know these things, don't you?
He's getting to be like my wife. I ask a question and she answers it. I mean, he answers it. Yeah, no, that was Jim Parkhurst, and right, and he has been the commandant and served several other different positions, with the 108 American Legion in Oxford. So, and actually, he was the one that was instrumental in starting their museum.
Oh,
You folks-
it's quite the museum, too.
Yeah, it's on Drainer Road. If you folks get an opportunity, stop by and take a look at it. It's very informative.
Yep, just jump off on East Drainer, off of 24,
Right.
right there.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but he was named Citizen of the Year, I think, a few years back. Jim Parker. Parkhurst. They call him Parker, but Parkhurst is his last name. And he comes from a long list of different military people. He served in the Army and, of course, honorably discharged. His grandfather served in, I believe, the Civil War, and it goes back further than that even.
Wow.
So
His grandfather.
He has history.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of history behind Mr. Parkhurst, and did a great job. Head of the parade, waving, everybody.
There
Right?
you go. There you go.
Okay. I'm trying to think of his wife's name.
Mrs. Parkhurst.
That's close enough. Yeah, we could give her a name right now and spread the rumor, but then Jim would be in trouble, wouldn't he? We better not do that. So anyway, it was a great time for everyone. Had the streets lined with people, as usual, and we gave out candy as other people did, candy canes and so forth along the route, little children.
Yep. Couldn't throw it, though. Got to hand it.
No, can't throw it. Got to hand it out. And actually, I know that Ashley Point was one of them that was giving out the candy. And I believe Janet Warner, also was going to do that as well.
Oh,
or did
yeah.
do that.
She's one of our new employees.
She is. And
Very
she's
skilled.
a welcome addition.
Yep.
So with that, what's coming up?
Well, we do have meetings on 12/6 at 6:30. The Oxford Board of Education is meeting at the high school for the Athletic and Academic Recognition Awards. And on 12/8 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission is meeting. And at 6 o'clock that same day, the Addison Township ZBA, but check, ZBA sometimes meet, sometimes they don't. On 12/12 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford ZBA. Same warning. And at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Council is going to be meeting. And on 12/13 at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council is going to be meeting. Followed by, at 6 o'clock, not followed by, but at Addison Township Planning Commission. And at 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education is meeting again, and this time at Lakeville Elementary.
Hey, that's great. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then. Ta-da.